In the wild, mysterious depths of Brittany, France, sits an old abandoned shack. Surrounded by ancient oaks and home to all manner of forest dwellers, it is here that we meet to share our stories. So pull up a seat, swing that light, grab your favourite beverage as we share another tantalising tale in the freaking shack. Hello listeners, welcome back to the freaking shack. We're on a new series.
We are, new season.
A new season or series, or depending on where you're from. Either or, I'm not bothered.
What do they call it in America?
It's seasons.
Is it seasons?
Yeah, we say series.
We say, yeah, that's true.
They say seasons. Okay. And then both are very much true.
Yes.
So I'm not bothered which one you decide to use.
You can use either.
Either or. But we're talking mystical creatures, legendary animals, beings, and the weird and wonderful. But we are kind of focusing a little bit on brownies today, or to be more precise, brownies. Because apparently that's the right way of saying it. It's apparently brownie, not brownie.
A brownie is one of those chocolate cakes that you eat, you cook in the oven.
I love that you've made that connection. Yeah, it is absolutely one of those things. But not in this case. In this case, we are talking about brownies or brownies. I always knew them as brownies.
Well, you always knew them as brownies because that's where brownies come from, as in when you join the guides, the brownies and the guides.
Yeah, and I very much resent that, right? I have big issues with this because when I looked up in my very special book that I have here, when I look up in my book, it says the brownie, and then it tells me how to pronounce it correctly because, you know, dyslexia is a beach. And it says it's one of the small folk who generally act as a house spirit. The brownie is a friendly being, right? It's about 3 foot tall with brown shaggy hair and brown clothes, who comes out at night and tends to unfinished tasks in the house that were previously tasks of the housewife or servants. I mean, how rude. That's all I can say. So when they have, we're going to have lots of girls come and join this group to learn how to be brownies, right?
But then that's what it was to start with, wasn't it? You were always helpful. I think that was one of the things on your promise.
Your promise list, yeah.
Yeah. You had to be helpful and kind or something. And you were supposed to help around the house.
Yeah.
Like a house elf.
Yeah.
Except,
just call me Dobby. We're going into Dobbies later. That's different.
We are going into Dobbies.
But that's different later. Yeah. So I was like, hang on a minute. I was in the brownies, and I used to resent the fact that they used to make us keep useless things in our pockets. Paper clips, a bit of string, but it was never a useful length of string. It was a stupid little half a quarter of a shoelace, maybe. It was ridiculous. It's like, when are you ever going to need that? I can't even remember what the other things were that you had to keep in your pocket.
It would tie your knicker elastic together.
Why would you need to tie your knicker elastic together?
Because if your knicker elastic snaps and your knickers fall down,
How often has that happened to you?
It did in years ago.
Well, I can say that they make underwear better now.
They certainly do. But way back
Clearly they don't make them like they used to.
They don't, thank goodness.
Yeah, clearly that's an advancement.
Yes.
In knicker elastic.
And the material overall.
Now, I'm all for the prepared element. We all know about my go bag in the car, right? I can live out of that thing for like months, you know. I'm all for being prepared. But I'm just like, we're teaching, and girls, specifically girls, to be house elves.
Yeah, but it is a bit more modern now.
It is now, but
I mean, it
wasn't then.
If you go and look now, they're learning languages and other sort of more active skills,
which is fair.
Yes, and so they should be.
So they should be, yeah. But when I was there, it was not that.
No, and when I was there, it was even worse.
Probably. Yeah, all I can say is that I was...
What were you?
I was
in the Brownies?
I was in the rainbows first.
Oh, you were in rainbows, because I ran the rainbows.
And then I was in Brownies, and by the time I got to Brownies, I got the arsehole with that, and I decided that was good enough for me.
Yeah.
I was done. I didn't go as far as guides.
Well, my granddaughter went to Beavers.
Beavers, yeah.
She went
to Beavers.
Yeah, she went to Beavers and loved it. And then when she grew out of Beavers, she had to go to Brownies. Yeah, because there wasn't anything else or something.
Cubs.
So, well, yeah, there was, but they thought Brownies would be good, so they took her to Brownies.
Oh.
And she really didn't like it. It was, let's just say, it was run by a lady who was rather older, and it was a little old-fashioned. And no, she didn't like it. So she ended up joining Beavers, because she could join Beavers for a bit longer or something. No,
is it Cubs? There was Cubs and then Beavers. I can't remember which way round it was.
She started at Rainbows. Then she went on to Brownies, didn't like Brownies, went to Beavers.
Gotcha.
Was in Beavers and absolutely loved it. And now she's too old for Beavers.
Oh, no.
So now she's joined Cubs.
Brilliant.
And she loves it. So
there you go, to each their own. And I think I'd have liked to have gone to Beavers or Cubs. That wasn't an option.
Yeah. No, it wasn't back then for you. It was only sort of Rochelle's year that it really started to take off.
Yeah, my sister went to the boys group, and I was gutted. I mean, I loved it for her because it was absolutely right for her. But I would have loved to have gone to the boys group, and not done the girly one. I had to wear a dress and everything. Anywho, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, let's just say that useless things in your pockets. I know the word's supposed to be helpful things like a button, but you never had a needle and thread, so what are you going to do with the button?
I was going to say something really rude then, but I won't. Oh, dear.
Yes, clean answers only in the comments, please.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anywho's. So are you going straight into that, or are we going to do what's in...
Let's do that first.
In my hand.
Because we're going to start a different thing for this series, because we've decided that as we're doing mystical creatures or mythological creatures, I think is probably a better word for it, we're going to spill over into a bit of question...
Yeah.
Quiz questions.
Yeah, because there's a lot of... if nobody understands quite what the freaking shack is...
Yeah, where it started. The idea started.
I'm not even sure we've even explained this.
No. I don't think we have, no.
Because Steph and I are very into Harry Potter.
The world, the whole world.
And whether you are or not, it doesn't make any difference. It's not, you're just a muggle. It's fine. We accept muggles.
We accept everyone here.
Anyone. You don't have to be a wizard or a witch. You can be a house elf if you can be whatever you want to be perfectly honest. You're very welcome. But we will occasionally refer to Harry Potter. We're actually sitting in the shack and it looks like Hogwarts.
It kind of does, yeah. I mean, I think we've touched on it every now and again, but...
It's the freaking shack was named to be very similar to the Shrieking Shack, which is an area in Harry Potter that is supposed to be the most haunted house in the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
Is how it's sort of described. Obviously, we couldn't use that word.
No, because I think it's copyright.
But yeah. So, the freaking shack is where we are.
Yeah.
Based on it being the most haunted place in France.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah. With the fuff.
With the fuff. Freaking. So this is where the name came from. So it is half-heartedly based on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And we do make references to it. But the interesting thing is, a lot of what went into the story
was not created only for the story.
No,
it all came from somewhere.
Yeah, it was based. A lot of it was based on myth, legend, and truth.
Yes,
in actual fact.
Yes.
So we've decided to look at mythical, legendary creatures.
And my book that I have, my big book, is the Element Encyclopedia of Magical Creatures.
Perfect.
So that's the one I'm using. It's not a Harry Potter book. It does not at all, actually. This one covers all kinds of things. And I do have a couple of Harry Potter ones.
Yeah, we've got Harry Potter, the Creature Vault, and we also have the Fantastic Beasts. Where's the one I gave you?
It's behind your head.
Oh, yeah. And this one, which is a very interesting one, which is Harry Potter, the History of Magic. And it looks at the history behind the magic.
Yeah, where it all came from.
Where the ideas have come from and been used from, and a lot of them based in legend, in myths, and sometimes, as I said, the truth.
Yeah.
There actually are...
From all over the world.
Yeah, yeah. So there are actually real mandrakes.
Yes, they're a real thing.
They're a real thing. So we're going to be sort of looking at all of this stuff. But we thought we'd start off with some questions about beasts.
Yes.
Just to see if you can answer the questions at all.
These are sort of Harry Potter Wizarding World type questions.
Yeah.
And you're going to ask the questions, and then I'm going to try and answer them at the end.
Yeah.
And then we'll see.
We'll see who else is right.
Yeah. I'll give you the answers at the end.
So there are 4 houses in Harry Potter. If you've not seen it before, 4 houses that they go when they go to boarding school. It's like a boarding school, an English, old-fashioned English boarding school. They go to the school and they are put into their houses. It's very much done that way in a lot of schools in the UK, or was. I'm not so sure.
Oh, no, they do it now.
They still do it now.
Even in schools, even in classes, they're separated into
where
houses
you
a lot.
Earn points for your particular house, and at the end of term, you win a house cup or something. So in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, they are put into 4 houses. The 4 houses are Gryffindor, which is a lion.
Yep, depicted by a lion.
They are put into the house Hufflepuff,
which is your house.
Which is my house.
I'm a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
You're a Hufflepuff.
I'm a Hufflepuff, which is a badger. And then there is Slytherin, which is green. And I'm not saying what that one is.
No.
Because the question is, what creature is displayed on the Slytherin banner?
Yep. But you should mention Ravenclaw.
I'm going to.
Okay.
That's where I'm going
to say,
next.
Don't miss that one.
My other granddaughter, my big granddaughter, she is a Ravenclaw. Or is she? No, she's not. She's not, but her husband is.
Oh, okay.
He's a Ravenclaw. And on the Ravenclaw, it's not a raven.
No, it's not a raven.
It's an eagle. Is it an eagle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything that you find that has a raven on the Ravenclaw house
is not real.
Not real.
Not real.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. So that's the first one. What creature is displayed on the Slytherin banner? The second question. What colour is unicorn blood?
Mm. We're going through all the mystical creatures here.
We are. Most of these are all based on creatures. The next one. Is Aragog the size of a cat, the size of a dog, or the size of an elephant?
Cool. At the end, we will give you we'll tell you
a rundown
what it is. Yeah,
of what Aragog is and what size he is. The next question: what creatures are around 8 inches high, blue in colour, and very naughty?
I like it. It's raining now. This is going to ruin our audio.
It makes it more mysterious.
It might.
As the storm swirled around the outside of the house and the rain lashed against the windows. There you go. I
like it. We don't even need to write a story now.
Swing that light. There we go.
Have we got another question?
We have. We're on the hard ones now.
Oh.
What creature did Harry conjure up to repel the Dementors? Was it a stag, a unicorn, or a boggart?
I like it.
The interesting thing about the story itself is that Dementors were depression.
Yeah.
And so basically what they were saying was, what staves off depression? What can you put around you or in front of you to stave off depression? It's a really interesting concept. Everyone seems to think this book is for children. This book is...
There's more to it than that.
There is far more to it than that. Okay. And I think this is the final question, or not?
I thought that was 5. I think that was 5.
Was that the 5? Perhaps it was. I think that is it then.
Cool. We'll go into more depth for the answers at the end. Just to be like, really annoying. Make everyone wait. You guys have a skip button, that's all I can say.
I listened to another podcast, and who I can tell you what it is. It's Yvette Fielding.
Oh, yes.
Doing her podcast. I will put a link in the show notes for it. And she always starts hers off with a little question, as in, is this fact or fiction?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So then you have to have a guess, and she will not tell you until the end. So,
okay. Well, we're keeping on theme then.
Same sort of thing. But
no problem. We can go with that.
This is all down to you now.
Okay.
I'm
taking over. You've got nothing.
I have no notes at all. I can just sit here supping on my lemonade.
Yeah, that's the beverage of choice for this episode is lemonade.
Only because it doesn't go cold, and our tea goes cold. Because
this is fizzy, however, so if I belch my way through this episode, I'm not responsible. I did not choose it.
Fizzy lemonade.
Never mind. Okay, so we're talking brownies. Or brownies. I'm going to say brownies because that's the only... I'm just going to fall over my words if I try and say it the other way. So we talked about brownies being servants in the house, right? And coming out and finishing leftover tasks that were not done by the housewife. How very dare she? She did not finish her tasks. Brownies have become associated with the household. They are very... There's me falling over my words now. Brownies became associated with the household in a very responsible way, attending to the daily running of the place, seeing to the animals, tending to the land.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, and giving good advice. Okay, I mean, in any household, the brownie will attach itself to one particular person. So very much like the kind of house elfy type thing. Yeah. But anyway, this one says that it attaches itself to one particular person and to be their confidant. In return for all of these duties, the brownie expects a small reward, which must not be omitted unless you wish to offend him.
Wow.
A bowl of cream, a glass of milk, or a bannock of oats or cake will ensure that your relationship with your brownie is secure.
We did a story, and I can't remember what it's called now. I might do a link to that story. But we did a story, one of the little stories that we did on the lead up to Christmas. And they were the little creatures that lived in your barn and looked after your animals and your well-being of your land to help make sure that your luck was in for your crops to grow. And that one, they had to go to the barn and take, I can't remember what they were called, the creatures now, but they used to have to take, once a year, they would give this creature something. And it was similar to a little gnome, actually. And they would give him a bowl of porridge.
I like it.
and that kept them sweet so that they stayed around, and that's you got your good luck from them.
Oh, I like
But they
it.
weren't called brownies. I'm going to have to find out what they were called. I'll try and do a link to the other story.
Yeah, we can link that. Well, brownies specifically, and this is probably where that sort of bit came from, of dropping off a gift.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just dropping it off and leaving it there.
Yeah.
Because brownies do not much like to be addressed directly.
Mm.
So it is best to just leave your offering where it can be found and enjoyed. If you have cares and worries, then you mention these as you perform some ordinary task in such a way that the brownie can overhear you.
I
So
see.
you just talk to them, just chat away. You just don't need to address them directly, you just chat away.
So if you're talking to yourself and someone says, "Are you talking to yourself?" You say, "No, I'm talking
No, I'm
to the
talking
brownies."
to my brownie.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking to my little brownie. He's listening. It's fine.
And people won't think that's strange at all.
No, of course they won't. No. But
Is he called marron in French? Les marrons?
I'm guessing no.
Huh.
Honestly, I don't know what you'd call them in French. We'll have to research that one. I haven't looked into it. Why do you always manage to come up with a question that is like so out there that I'm like, well, I've learned so much about brownies. And funnily enough, I don't know what they're called in French. Oh dear.
But if they're brown, then surely...
There you go. Yeah, le petit marron. Could insinuate all kinds of things, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Ah dear. That's just what you call them when they aggravate you. Anyway, the sure way to get rid of a brownie, I don't know why you'd want to get rid of a brownie, but the sure way to get rid of a brownie is to offer him clothing.
Oh, what?
As we learn in the Harry Potter books, where Dobby the house elf escapes his employment in the home of an unpleasant Lucius Malfoy, when Harry Potter slips a sock into his book, which Dobby then takes from his master. If you offend a brownie, you may find that you have suddenly got a boggart.
Oh.
And I'm going to talk about more of those in a minute. You have a boggart in the house. For that is what they become if you are not careful.
Oh my goodness.
Brownies do not like any kind of meanness, lying or sneaking.
Ah.
They are...
Can we give one to Trump?
He may have several boggarts in his house, but the White House will be full.
Oh
dear.
Say no more. Moving
Say no
on.
more. Moving on. There are many stories which tell of how brownies punish servants who are going behind their employer's back or otherwise misbehaving and not taking the maintenance of the household seriously. The helpfulness of brownies is most admirably seen in the tale of the Brownie of Maxwell.
Ooh.
Which just so happens
To be
right here.
Oh my goodness, that's a story.
We love a good story. Swing that light.
I'm swinging.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm
Here we
ready.
go. A brownie busied themselves in the house of Maxwell. And forgive me how I say this, Lord of, I think it's Dalswinton? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Dalswinton, yeah. Having worked in this home for a good stretch of time, the brownie had drawn particularly close to the Lord's daughter. As she grew up, the brownie had helped her with all kinds of tasks and even helped her with the arrangements for her wedding. The brownie oversaw everything about her welfare, so when she began to experience issues in childbirth, it was of course the brownie who helped that night. There had been a good few days of bad weather and the river Nith had swollen. The midwife lived on the opposite bank. Taking the mistress's fur coat and the best horse from the stable, the brownie rode across the raging waters to the midwife's home, in a desperate attempt to get her the help that she needed. In the murk of the night, the midwife gazed out at the brownie and merely thought that it was a particularly small servant. She grabbed a few things in her bag and mounted the horse sitting behind the brownie. As they rode through the darkness, the midwife called, "Don't go by the old pool, in case we meet the brownie." "Have no fear, good wife," cried the brownie in response. "You have met all the brownies you are ever likely to meet." The midwife arrived in time to help the brownie's mistress. So glad was the old lord that he wanted to reward the brownie with an eternal salvation of baptism.
Wow.
Hiding in the stable with a stoop of holy water, the Lord poured it over the brownie as he was about to unsaddle the horse. As soon as the holy water touched him, the brownie disappeared forever.
Wow.
Don't know if I can...
I might have to keep that in.
Lemonade. Yeah, that's not how I expected it to end.
No.
I expected it to be something nice.
Yeah, but like he turned into a real boy or something.
No, poof.
Like
God.
Pinocchio.
No, not like that, no. Not like that at all. The poof. There he was.
Poof and gone.
Poof. Oh, that was in the Harry Potter thing, wasn't it? What went poof? Oh, the fish in the bowl.
Oh, yes, that's it.
Yes.
Lily's fish.
Lily's fish.
Yeah, when she died.
Yeah, when she died, no fish left. Poof.
Yeah, the fish went poof.
There you go.
Was it a poofer fish?
Supposed to be a sad moment. Oh, dear.
Sorry.
Oh, my goodness. Anywho, in order to understand why we all went ooh when if you upset a brownie, if you offend them, and they suddenly decide, well, they don't decide, but they turn into a boggart, and we were kind of because a boggart is one of those things that is referenced again in the Harry Potter books. However, in my special book of wonder, because I've forgotten what it's called, but it's fine. In my special book
of wonder
of wondrous magical creatures, it talks about boggarts, but funnily enough, in a slightly different way to how we know them to be.
Right, okay.
So, we'll go into the Harry Potter boggart in a minute. I thought I was going to sneeze then. It's fine. So, it says that boggarts who occur all over Britain are mischievous brownies.
Ah, right, okay.
Who misplace and upset things. They follow their chosen victims around and make life as difficult as possible. I think we've got a boggart
in your house.
I think we've got one in the shack. So it says they follow their chosen victim around and make life as difficult as possible, which is perhaps why certain days nothing seems to go right. They are very difficult to get rid of.
Mm.
So that's what that says about boggarts.
She's trying to be very careful with her books here.
I'm sorry, I've got like 3 books on my lap and another one in front of me.
It's okay. I have a little button on there that says noise removal. I can edit you out completely.
It's just noise. Shut up, Steph. You're just noise. As they talk about in the Harry Potter books, the true shape of a boggart is unknown. As a boggart changes shape, in the Harry Potter world, a boggart changes shape to that of the viewer's most horrible fear. I want you just to have a think at the minute.
Yeah, what's your worst fear?
What would your boggart be? Because I've thought about this and I honestly don't know.
I think mine would be a bit like Molly Weasley's.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, poor old Molly found a boggart in the drawing room. In the drawing room in Grimmauld Place, and she was trying to get rid of it, and it just kept showing her the death of every person in her family.
Yeah, it started out, I think in the beginning it was like her husband, and then she cast the spell to get rid of it, but it wasn't strong enough, and then it would change, and it would change to another member of her family. So it was like one of her sons, it was her daughter, it was another one of her sons, it was, and it just kept switching every time.
Yeah.
While she's in floods of tears, and it's traumatic. It's just traumatic. So this is what the Boggart did in the Harry Potter world.
She did get saved.
She did get saved.
Mad Eye Moody came up and got rid of it for her.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Who was the Defence Against the Dark Arts professor? Remus Lupin. Oh no, was it Lupin that got rid of it? No. It was Mad Eye. Yeah. So it talks here about the Defence Against the Dark Arts lesson that Lupin did, instructing his third-year students in how to cast the ridiculous charm to repel such a creature, and he uses the Boggart in a private lesson in the film. They're basically supposed to be things that are insanely terrifying, and that's what they become. So listeners, what would your Boggart be? Gotta know.
Yeah.
Because in the stories there were spiders, there were clowns, there were rats, there were snakes, it was all sorts of things.
Hermione's was
McGonagall.
Professor McGonagall telling her she'd failed all her exams.
And Harry's was a Dementor.
Yes. And they thought it was going to be Voldemort. Lupin thought it should have been Voldemort, but it wasn't. It was a Dementor.
And Lupin's was a hovering silver orb.
It turned out to be the moon.
The moon. Yeah. We have a fly in here now. That's not going to ruin our audio at all.
No.
Never mind.
Is that a creature?
Is it a creature? It could be. So yes.
So you just have to learn the ridiculous charm.
You have to learn the ridiculous charm to be able to repel a Boggart.
Yes.
And then
anything that frightens you, you just have to turn it into something that's funny.
You have to turn it into something that's funny.
You see, that is a classic way of doing some work when you've got some PTSD. And I'm not saying like really bad PTSD, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but when I had an accident,
you've talked about it briefly, but not.
Yeah, when we had the accident, which I think we're going to be talking about.
Oh, technically we haven't published that one yet.
No, we haven't. In the we would have done. By the time we do these creatures one, it would have been.
Oh yeah, no, we would have done.
Yeah, we're so confused because we are doing.
In our attempts to be very prepared. And
we are doing episodes that are like way ahead of ourselves. So it's knowing what would have been published before you see it, before you hear it even. So yes, I would have talked about the accident, I think, where we were hit by a lorry on the motorway on the way on holiday. And what happened was I was a therapist at the time and working with NLP. And what happened was when we got to the hotel that night, all I kept re-seeing in my head was the lorry coming for us. And it kept repeating and repeating. And I realised that if I wasn't careful, it was going to become an issue when I next drove or next was in the car again. And therefore, I took myself through a little session of readjusting my memory of it. Not taking away from the fact that it happened, but I added things to it and changed around how I felt about it. Yeah. So in the end, in actual fact, every time I think of it now, I hear... Now, I don't even know what the names of these things are because I don't know Star Wars that well. But we are the little spacecraft that Luke Skywalker and...
X-Wings.
Was it an X-Wing? Oh, yeah.
If it's the single one...
No, it's not the single one. Oh, right. It's a slightly bigger one where there's just like him and Han Solo, is it?
That'll be the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, okay, so that's what that is. And the lorry became like the Death Star. Is it like the big, huge...
Star Destroyer.
Ah, okay, there you go. So that's what that became. But now, when I rerun it in my head, that's who we are, and the Death Destroyer thingy... Star Destroyer.
It's all right, we'll get there in a minute, guys.
I know what I mean. In my head, I know exactly what I mean.
It's fine. The big triangular pointy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And that comes in and swoops in to get us, and we end up swooping away, and all I can hear is the Star Wars music. And we survived. We flew off. And we were fine.
Brilliant. I love it.
And so
that's now your memory.
That is now my memory. So,
which is a lot more positive.
Yeah.
And a lot more
take
control-y
than
the lack of control that you feel when...
Yeah. And it's understanding that we were okay before and we were okay afterwards. And I was able to change. And rejig what I saw and what I did. But it's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
I worked with somebody once who was triggered every time her ex-husband spoke to her on the phone. Every time the phone went ping with his particular ringtone, it triggered her. So what we did in the end was give him a different ringtone, and then she also changed his name to something ridiculous, like Pighead or something. It was something stupid that she felt.
I did the same thing with my ex.
Yeah.
And I renamed him.
Yeah.
And put everything in what I call in the Jaft folder.
Yeah. Which stood for?
Jonathan Aloysius Fucktard. You can cut that out if you want to.
No. I'll just put it on explicit this week, that's all.
Oh, dear.
So there you go. And
I can tell you that works. It absolutely works.
And it's exactly what she did. She changed the stupid ringtone to something ridiculous like a cartoon thing, and she just called him a really stupid name, and every time it came on she just laughed. And so it changed that for us. So it is like the ridiculous thing.
Yeah, I think that, again, it's taking all these elements of a story and realising that these are essentially metaphors for real things we are doing that are real things.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting thing. I'm going to hand you this one because you... Shh, I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
You didn't make that noise.
Not at all.
Oh! That was my drink. Luckily, it is over here on the shelf. It is not.
No more drinks.
No more spillings. We do not do spillings.
I want you to have a look for where you found Kappas, because we're going to go on and talk about Kappas.
Ah.
Because in my wonderful book of things, and they come from, at least from the research that I've managed to do, they come from a particular region of Japan. The Kappa, have you ever heard of them, listeners? If you've not heard of them before, we were going to go through what they are. But they are water spirits who pull children into the water and drown them. And specifically they attack travellers. So it kind of links back to our traveller thing.
It does link back to our other thing, yeah.
Yeah. They are unable to survive for long on land since they must keep their heads wet. They are described as having long hair, the body of a tortoise, scaly limbs, and an ape-like face. At some time in the past, they may have been wise monkeys.
Oh, let's see. I've got the picture here.
Oh, I like it.
Now this is in the Harry Potter: A History of Magic book, and there is a picture of a kappa in there, very similar to how Steph's described it.
It would be interesting if we have any artists in the group.
It does.
Any listeners who are artists. They're described as having long hair, the body of a tortoise, scaly limbs, and an ape-like face. And you've got a picture there that does look very similar to the sort of monkey element.
It's interesting in the fact that you were saying about keeping his head wet. Apparently there's like a hole in the top of its head and it keeps water inside.
Ah.
And the interesting thing it says here is the kappa's head has a distinctive hollow in the head to contain its vital fluid. In Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is a follow-on film from Harry Potter, Scamander is advised, and he's the, I can't remember what the word is, animagist or something like that. He does a study of creatures.
Okay.
He studies creatures and he loves creatures. But he said in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Scamander advised that the wizard should trick the Kappa into bowing so that the water in its head would run out, depriving it of its strength. There you go. But it does say here it takes its name from the Japanese words for river and child, which is what you were saying about the children.
Mazoologist,
that's it.
got it.
Thanks. Was nothing like the word I was
No,
saying.
it wasn't. No, you were thinking of animagus.
I
I was pretty
was.
sure I knew where you were going with
Yes.
it, but yes.
That's somebody who can turn into an animal.
That's really interesting, actually, the whole bowing thing, because that would be... Bleh. Anyway,
Yeah.
this bit here says that their form may have changed, into their present form over time. They live on a diet of cucumber and blood, and they fly on I'm sorry. I can't even say this with a straight face. They live on a diet of cucumber and blood, and they fly on enchanted cucumbers, which sprout wings like dragonflies. I'm not sure what they were on when they wrote this, but I think I want some. They may well have influenced the creators of the children's television series Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ah, there you go. It's interesting, isn't it? It does say in my book that the Kappa feeds on human blood, but may be persuaded not to harm a person if it is thrown a cucumber with the person's name carved into it.
Oh, okay. So hang on a second, I've got to find my Kappas again because they've just gone walkabout because I shut the book to find out whatever bloody word you were talking about. And now I've lost it. I mean, I think I lost it some time ago, so it's... Okay, hold that thought. We're on our way. Where did we put it?
I can cut this out.
You think you better do?
She was so organised when she
I was,
started.
and then you made me change my page, and
I've lost my page.
I've lost my page with my little dude in it.
You little Kappa dude.
Yeah.
We have lions and crows and wasps and spiders and... Oh no, they're not spiders.
No.
Dragons.
Many sodding dragons. Don't want dragons. Sticky dragons. Oh, well, there we go.
We've got them at last.
Okay. Now, the reason that I chose to talk about these little guys is because of the whole children killing murder thing.
Yeah, I might put a warning on the front of this.
We might have to. These are another little nasty little, gremlin folk that prey on children.
That irk you.
They do irk you. They are called Irklings.
Yeah.
They're called Irklings, and they are elfish-like creatures which originated from the Black Forest in Germany. It's getting late, guys. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, it's larger than a gnome, around 3 feet high on average, with a pointy face and a high-pitched cackle that is particularly entrancing to children, whom it will attempt to lure away from their guardians and eat. Nice. Strict controls by the German Ministry of Magic, however, have reduced Irkling killings dramatically over the last few centuries. The last known Irkling attack upon a 6-year-old wizard called Bruno resulted in the death of the Irkling when Master Schmidt, Bruno, hit it over the head with with his father's large collapsible cauldron. So there you go. That's the way to do them. do them in, hit them over the head
with a big cauldron,
with something large and heavy. They've got. I mean, obviously, I don't know whether they are Kappa based, but they don't look quite the same.
No, they don't.
I've got a book in front of the microphone, so I probably went a bit funny there.
Gobbling looking, aren't they? In their features.
Yeah. But Urklings strike me as being quite nasty. A little more on the nasty side. I think I'd rather have Brownies, let's just say that.
Yes.
I was just looking to see in my big book of wonderfulness. It's going to change its name every time I say it, because
you can't think of the real name.
It's the Encyclopedia of Magical Creatures. I was looking to see if Urkling was in here, but it's not. But that's not to say that they don't have it under a different name, because that happens a lot. Anywho, I think that's all I got now.
So, what are we going to be talking about in the future?
Okay, so
for the next few episodes.
Here, hold this.
It's my piece of art. That
is.
I could put some of that in.
So, over the next few episodes, we're going to be talking about Spridgens.
Are we?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Spridgens, Bookers, and Knockers. We're going to be talking about red caps, blue caps, and
they're not mushrooms.
No.
Or toadstools.
No, definitely not. Blue caps and red caps. And mermaids, mermen, and Lorelei. It's all coming, folks.
It's all coming. And we
there's
also
more
said
as well.
Werewolves, most definitely.
Yeah. Werewolves definitely going to be a thing. But before we go anywhere, because this is going to be a slightly shorter... Well, I don't know, we might be all right. Because we also need to do our answers.
We do. That's why I was trying to eke out what we're bringing in.
Oh, I see. You're eking out my episode.
I am. I just thought it would be a good idea, because I was just wondering, in my book, where it's talking about creatures...
Yes.
I was just looking to see what I'd got in mine. And we have got serpents, because serpents appear a lot.
I think we do also need to do, like, dragons and...
Oh, yeah, I have got a big picture of a kappa here, look.
Oh, yeah.
And that's in Defence Against the Dark Arts, so there you go. So there's the kappas. So let's see where... There's sort of creatures everywhere. I've got lots of unicorns, and I think that's definitely a creature we need to look at. See, magical creatures include things like owls. The wise owl was it. You know, again, it's sort of from myth and legend, isn't it? And Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
Oh, an owl.
Yeah.
I was like, where did you get that from?
He has an owl in the 100-acre wood.
He does.
See, I can whiz around all over the place.
I was going to say knight's move.
So
that is very much a knight's move.
And the animals that the students are allowed to take with them.
Or companions.
The companion animals of things like witches. Oh, she's got the owl.
We've got lots of information on owls. So, yeah, we can totally do a thing about
If only we could get film of the owl that lives up in our barn. But you have to go down at sort of just the sort of twilight, just as it's starting to get dark, and you have to be really quiet and walk down there. He always knows you're coming, but you have to be ready for him, because he will fly over your head and you do not hear him.
No, you won't hear him at all.
You do not hear a thing.
There's a family of owls that are living in the manoir on my little hamlet.
Oh, right, okay.
And I can probably speak to Brio.
Yeah.
And ask him if I can go and have a little nosy and see if I can see anything. Because he's got owls and we've got the bats.
Ah, right.
And I love the bats.
Yeah, well, we've got the bats just out here, but we have got and he's one of these big white barn owls.
He's a Hedwig.
He is gorgeous.
For those of you that don't know, Harry Potter has an owl called Hedwig, and it's a white barn.
But the other creatures I've got in here as well are giants.
Oh yes, I've got a lot about giants.
And we've got a few of the stories in our run up to Christmas stories. One of those was about the giants of Cornwall.
Mm-hmm.
So that's well worth going back and having a listen to. So looking at like the myth and legend behind giants, we have trolls. And again, there's different types of trolls, isn't there?
Yeah, there are so many different types of troll, and you know, being the big trolls, the little trolls, the under the bridge troll, the huge cave trolls. You know, we see it in Tolkien as well, where they're talking about, you know, huge trolls. So yeah, I think we can absolutely do that.
Dragons, of course.
I said that earlier. I've got a whole slew of information on dragons from the Harry Potter universe, but also from myth and legend as well. Right across the world. It's crazy.
George and the Dragon, I mean, we sort of have St George's Day, but in actual fact, I don't think St George had anything to do with the UK. I think it was much more sort of Eastern Europe, maybe. I need to find out more about that, but yeah, dragon eggs, owls, I've got more pictures of, toads, cats. Cats have always been a companion animal, haven't they?
Yeah.
And quite often the black cat is looked at as either lucky or unlucky. Yeah. So we can definitely look at those. We may just hint at spiders. Yeah, but then we might follow them with butterflies.
Yeah.
And if anyone's seen the Harry Potter books, they will appreciate the fact that it's...
Yeah, we won't be following the spiders.
We won't be following the spiders. But we will see they've got Buckbeak, the hippogriff.
Hippogriffs, and I think we can also put in Chimera, which is another sort of similar type mélange of animals.
All right. And did you know there were 5 species of unicorn?
I didn't know that, but I think there's one with 2 horns, which is kind of weird.
There
being
is
a unicorn.
There
it doesn't make is it a duocorn?
Did you know that women that have had breast cancer and only have one boob are called uni-boobers? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There you go.
Not mono then. Uni.
Yeah. Or unicorns, because we've only got 1 point. I say we because I only have. So there you go. And the Firebird.
The Phoenix.
Of course, the Phoenix. And we will be doing something on that. And I know that Mary, that we mentioned in one of our other podcasts that we did.
Episodes.
Thank you. She does love to get me on that. I get it. I do it every time. One of our other episodes, which I think was the sea.
Yep, it was ships and yes.
Yeah, and we mentioned Mary, who gave us some information on St Valentine.
Yes.
I'm giving her another shout out now because she did a lovely little podcast on...
Episode.
She did a lovely episode, thanks Mary, on the Phoenix.
Oh, excellent.
So it'll be cool to see what we've got compared to what she's got as well. So looking at anything else, no, that's the Phoenix. Mermaids, that was the other one you mentioned.
I've already, yes, I mentioned that.
And other sea creatures, because when you think of when we were talking about the haunted seas and oceans,
there's a lot of sea
creatures like the giant octopus type,
the kraken.
Yeah,
there's loads of things like that. So but even like you said, down to merpeople and Grendelos and all those sort of
underwater creatures.
We could do an underwater thing, but I think all of those things, because merpeople is going to take some going through, because there's a lot of legend around those.
There you go.
So we will see how many episodes we have to do, but there's a lot of mystical creatures that we're going to get through. as much as we are going to be linking it to Harry Potter, it's not all about Harry Potter. So if you don't know anything about Harry Potter, do not fear. There will be lots of information outside of that.
I think the thing is that a lot of the creatures were either mentioned or suggested in either the Harry Potter books or the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yep. And we can make links across to, places like Lord of the Rings and things like that, because a lot of these creatures go back and forth between many different stories. Yeah. But yeah, it's I think it's really interesting.
But a lot of them being used in these films and books have come from real legend, and I say real legend and real myth, meaning that they've come from myth and legend. They're not necessarily real,
but they weren't made up.
They weren't
recently.
made up. Yeah, they weren't made up for the books.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all the stories. So there you go. So we've got lots to get our teeth into.
Yes, just not children.
Just not children.
No, we're not getting our teeth into that.
No,
we are not Urklins.
No, we love kids. Yeah, really.
Couldn't eat a whole one.
Even though they gave you lots of germs.
Oh, I am so done. I'm so done. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about that now. No, possibly new work.
Moving on,
new things. But I'm not. I was literally thinking the schools are going back tomorrow. I've just got over all of the screaming abdabs that they gave me before I left, because the wonderful children decided to leave me a little leaving gift of another cold. And I've only just managed to get over that one, and I really did not want to go back into that. And I don't have to, so it's fine.
Okay, we are over an hour, and we need some answers to our questions.
Yes, we do.
So, what creature is displayed on the Slytherin banner?
That would be a serpent.
It would.
Snake, basilisks also come into the Slytherin house.
Yeah.
But a serpent of some variety.
Yes. It certainly is. What colour is unicorn blood?
That would be silver.
It is silver.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
If you got silver, give yourself a point. And choose your house.
Yeah, find out your house. We need to know what house you belong to. Is Aragog the size of a cat, the size of a dog, or the size of an elephant?
He is the size, I'm sorry to say, the size of an elephant. I think we also need to say what he is.
Yes.
He is an acromantula. And it's exactly what it sounds like. He's a spider, guys. He's the size of an elephant, and he's a monster of one.
Yeah. And he doesn't eat Hagrid, because Hagrid's his friend. And he tells his children, his thousands and thousands of children, not to eat Hagrid either, but that's where it stops.
Yeah, anyone else is fair game, apparently.
Yeah, so don't go into the Forbidden Forest.
It's forbidden for a reason.
Yeah, that's why we prefer butterflies.
Yep.
Right, what creatures are around 8 inches high, blue in colour and very naughty?
There would be piskies.
They would be piskies. Please don't call them pixies. They're called pixies in the film, in the books.
They are piskies.
And they are Cornish piskies.
Yeah.
And
grr.
Whether they're blue or not, I'm not so sure. But
I've not read that they're blue.
Yeah. They're in the film.
Potter world, they are blue.
Yeah. But then they were also called pixies. Cornish pixies.
No.
Piskies, please. Okay. And not necessarily blue. They are a bit naughty, though.
Yeah, they are.
They can be a bit naughty. So that's why you save a bit of your pasty for them.
Yeah, well, that was for the knockers.
That was for the
We're
knockers.
We're going to do that next time.
Yeah,
it's
piskies and knockers. Right, so we've got that one. Did I have another one?
I thought there was 5.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
What creature did Harry conjure up to repel depression? I mean, Dementors. So what did he protect himself with?
And there were 3 answers.
There were. It was a stag, a unicorn, or a boggart.
And it was the stag that is the correct answer.
For Harry.
For Harry.
I think that's really...
And that's really poignant because the stag was a representation as well of his dad.
It was.
And again, kind of his protector, I suppose. And,
yeah.
you know, a person that was safe and that would protect him. So it was interesting.
Yeah, because each of the wizards in the film, witches and wizards, had their own
protection shield.
Yeah.
It's called a Patronus.
Patronus, yeah. It stands for protection.
Yeah.
And it is your protector.
Don't kick the table.
Sorry. Feet off the table.
Feet off the table. Yeah, but it's different for each person, and in order to conjure it, you have to think of happy thoughts.
Yes.
You have to surround yourself, fill yourself with happy thoughts, strong, powerful, happy thoughts, and then you can conjure your protection Patronus
against something that will suck all the happiness out of you, which is what a Dementor does, which is what it was depicting of depression.
I love it. It's very clever.
It's very deep and it's poignant, and maybe all of us need to think about what our Patronus would be.
Yeah.
To protect ourselves.
Yeah. I actually don't know what mine would be. Probably a big German Shepherd.
Yeah. Mine, when I did it, when I went on the Harry Potter thing, mine's a dolphin.
Okay.
Which is fine. I'm happy with that. But my two spirit animals, I can tell you this now. Many years ago, when I first started doing Reiki and things like that, we were told about spirit animals. Oh, and you have to watch I can't remember the film now. Is it Coco? The film?
Don't know.
It's all about a little boy who learns to play the guitar, but his family don't want him to play the guitar. It's in Mexico, and it's the Day of the Dead, and he ends up going over and he's got this dog following him around all the time. Just a normal, silly, soppy dog that just happens to just be like a stray. And he ends up he crosses the bridge from the land of the living to the land of the dead, and the dog goes with him, and gradually as they work their way through, the dog earns his spirit wings and becomes his spirit animal. And it's got so much colour in it, and I watched it with my granddaughter, and she wanted to know what was her spirit animal. And I said, well, we can do a little meditation and we can think about what your spirit animal is. And she still didn't make a big decision. And I said, well, let's go for a walk and let's think about it while we go for a walk, and maybe your spirit animal may turn up in front of you. Well, we found all sorts of spirit animals for her. She decided she would either have a worm, because she found a worm. She decided it could be a little beetle that she found. She said it could be a fly or a butterfly, or there was all these creatures that we found on this walk, and she decided a snail was another one, and a slug.
I would think a snail would be quite protective.
Yeah, with its little shell and everything.
Yeah, well, you could call it Michelle.
But she loved the fact of having a spirit animal that she could call upon who would protect her. But I did a little meditation when I was learning Reiki, and I wanted to find out what my spirit animal was, and I had no idea at the time, no idea at all. And the message that I got after the meditation was, you will find out soon.
Oh,
was what the message was.
Wait and see.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And it said it will become obvious to you and it felt like it would be a week or so's time. And it was strange because we were going away on holiday in that week or so when we went to Wales. And we went to...
Was it a dragon?
It was a dragon.
Oh my goodness, you got a Welsh dragon.
And I had no idea at all. I'd spoken to Dad about it, and I said, I have no idea what this spirit animal is. I hadn't thought about the holiday, hadn't meant anything to me. We were just going away. We had a lovely house to stay in. It was specially adapted for Luke, so Luke could go in the swimming pool and everything.
I remember that.
Yeah, there was that great big house with a lift and everything inside the house, yeah. And when we got there, before that, we drove into Wales, and as we drove into Wales, on the side, the sign said, "Welcome to Wales," and there's a flipping dragon there. And I just looked at Dad, and I went, that's what it is.
That's my animal.
That's my animal. And do you know, when we got to the house, there was in the garden, in the back garden, I don't know if you remember, but there was a beautiful wall around a patio, and
it was one long dragon.
It was one long dragon all the way around the wall.
Yeah.
And everywhere I went, we just saw more and more and more dragons.
I got a little tiny dragon teddy with a beanie bum.
Yeah.
And I got that on that holiday, and I've still got it.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, mine was the dragon, and it just appeared. And I knew, as soon as I saw it, I knew that that's what the message had meant.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
What's your spirit animal? Do you have one? If not, what would you like one to be? I'll have to have a think about mine.
Yeah, have a think. We'll do a little meditation.
Yeah.
Bing.
See what we come up with.
Hom.
All right.
And with that, I think we're well over our hour.
We are. Yeah, we are.
And I think it's time to stop.
Yes.
Because we need to eat.
We do. We need to eat, and I need to go home.
You do. You've been here too long. You've
outstayed and everything.
Outstayed your welcome. We're going to shut that door in a minute. Shut that door.
You're on the other side of it.
Clunk. That's what we want, that little click of the door.
Yeah.
Someone said they liked our little click of the door.
It took ages to get that recording.
Yeah. We have actually got that door in the shack.
Yeah. It's actually our shack door.
It is our shack door.
Yeah. Right, with that, my lovely, lovely listeners, I hope you have a lovely week. And keep your minds open and your lamps lit.
And we'll see you all again next week at the Freaking Shack. Bye.
Contact us at fshack03@gmail.com or find us on social media by searching #TheFreaking_Shack. That's freaking without a G. We're looking forward to hearing from you really soon.